You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry Sanderson on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa.
Drove in 6. Phillies beat the Reds 9-4. Brewers are 4-0 after topping the Twins 3-2. Diamondbacks hand the Yankees their first loss of the season 7-0.
Inside the Locker Room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
And good morning and welcome into a Hump Day edition, the Wednesday edition of Inside the Locker Room, 205-342-9904. If you want to jump in on the show with us this morning, we'll talk some Final Four. This morning we could talk, Auburn's got their A-Day game. I guess it's called A-Day game. We'll talk to Bill Cameron about that in the second hour. Seems like maybe they're having a quarterback battle there. And Hugh Freeze said keep it open even going into the summer. So we'll see where it happens with their quarterbacks and who plays well over the weekend, if anybody really cares. Not a lot of football talk going on right now with what Alabama basketball is doing. Download the Tide 100.9 app to your smartphone, and you can take us with you anywhere you go. There's also a chat box that will send us an email if you want to do that, or you can email us, Wimp and Barry at yahoo.com. Got Justin Jones behind the glass. He's got the Grant Nelson mustache, rocking the mustache. How long did it take you to grow that mustache, Justin?
Well, I had the full beard going there for a little while.
So you just shaved the beard off and left the stash.
Maybe a little over a month, I think.
Well, Dad would be upset with you. No facial hair and no hats, and you have on both this morning. Yellowwood pressure-treated pine from Great Southern. If it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, you don't want it. Go to yellowwood.com when you want to build that 5-star backyard. You can find the dealer that is closest to you. And always remember, if it doesn't have that yellow tag on it, you don't want it. We got an email, Dad, from Jimmy Raines Foundation that Nick Saban will be the guest speaker this year. So that'll be exciting. That came out earlier in the week, so look forward to hearing Coach Saban. He'll be better than most of those guys. Hopefully, he can be as long as Dabo because he's actually interesting. But good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm doing okay. Several things I get it fairly interesting. I want you to know we talk about Kevin Clark all the time. She's terrific. Iowa LSU game was 12 million people have viewed the game. Most of the time, you don't have 2 million watching these ladies' games. But hats off to her and to Iowa for continuing on. Indiana State beat Utah, and Seton Hall beat Georgia in a unheralded NIT, and they will play for the championship. Indiana and Seton Hall at 6 o'clock. I forgot today on ESPN. I'll look it up in a minute. I think I have it here. North Carolina State ladies will play South Carolina, and South Carolina is going to win the championship at 6 o'clock on ESPN. It's amazing to me that North Carolina State's women and men got in the Final Four.
Also, UConn's, which, UConn obviously gets there, but their men's and women's are also in the Final Four.
Okay. Brandon Miller, for the third month in a row, has been the Rookie of the Year. It's great to know. My heart goes out to those 2 kids that are still in jail, but certainly Brandon Miller, and we forget those kids, and so whatever. You're going to want to know a lot about your team for next year. You can't. The transfer rule is they're piling the transfers. Some of those that even went a long way are transferring. So a lot of people are unhappy. It's an unhappy world in athletics. So study what you want to study and find out, where your team is going to be, so that you'll enjoy it. And I will say this today, and I will say it each day. Saturday at 5:09, North Carolina State with Burns and Purdue with Edey will play each other, and Purdue is an 8.5-point favorite. Saturday, 5:09. Saturday at 7:49. Alabama will play Connecticut. Both of these games are on TBS, and Connecticut is 11.5-point favorite. So write those down while you're listening to our show, because I might forget to announce it again. 5:09, 11:49, the two games that the winners, of course, will play for the national championship. We've got plenty to talk about. I hope we didn't get another guest today, and that's my fault. And so we'll welcome your calls and tell us what you think and where everybody's going and what they're going to do. And we're in a process now of like the really good player Florida Atlantic. When his coach left and went to Michigan, he's put himself in the transfer portal, not necessarily to Michigan. I guess Michigan could get him if they wanted to. So we'll be spending a lot of time. I'm not going to do that to you and tell you everybody that's leaving and going this way and that way, because they have to go through their process. And we'll have some more coaches that leave, more coaches get new contracts. We're in one of those kind of periods of time that it happens regardless of whether your transfer portal is here or not. People, not the way it is now, because transfer portal is brutal, but we'll see. If you have questions or whatever you want to talk about, just give us a call.
Yeah, I don't think anybody around here probably cares, but
Okay.
I don't think Andy Enfield was a very good hire. He said the only reason he took it was because of the ACC. But I mean, I'm not sure why you landed on him. But so there's so Eric Musselman. Arkansas owes him $12 million if they fire him. He only owes them $1 million if they leave. So he's jerking his pants up and going to interview today with Southern Cal. So, and there's nothing that Arkansas can do about it. There's no big buyout there if he decides to leave. And USC obviously can afford $1 million. I don't think for whatever reason, I know he's done well there, but I think I see him taking this USC job. I see him leaving Arkansas. I do, because I just think he's kind of worn out his welcome. I don't think he and the AD get along there, so I would not be shocked. And I don't think he's feeling any pressure worried about making them mad and going to interview, because he only has to pay $1 million buyout. Well, they have to pay $12 million if they buy him out. Do you think Musselman goes? And if they do, where does Arkansas go to
well, it's a non-basketball factor. You know, the good player there, his dad played, Bonnie, whatever his name is going to transfer, going somewhere. I think contracts very poorly fixed for Arkansas. They did a bad job of that, and they certainly need a name, and they need somebody that'll run with a basketball and play fast. That'll be a little bit dynamic and get on the field. That kind of personality. I don't know whether there are any out there or not.
The fan base wants Chris Beard, but I think Chris just signed a new contract with Ole Miss. So I don't know.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, I think Chris is not one of those. He's not going to jump up and down, whatever. But I think it's just you're risking, and I shouldn't say that based on me, but you're risking trying to hire an assistant coach somewhat, unless you just think he's top notch. So the pool probably will be, and our pro coach as well, because the pro coaches don't have any idea about the big in recruiting. I don't know if Sanford's coach would be a prospect for this or not. But funny, a little bit of maybe Barry, you can tell a little bit of a peculiar hire at Vanderbilt for me, a little bit. From what I gather, he doesn't like recruiting at all, and I don't think you can go in there unless you're willing to go in there and have. I think the first question you ask when you go in, do we have enough money to get players with? You don't have to say buy. Do we have enough money to be able to offer players something to keep them from going somewhere else if they really like Vanderbilt? And sometimes, the answer comes out that in reality they really don't answer it. We'll do what we can to do that. Or do what we can, we'll get you fired. So we're in a process now. That's the first question.
Yeah, but I mean, this guy quadrupled his salary. He's not going to stay at James Madison. He's going to Vanderbilt.
I know that. I know he's going, but my question was it a good hire? That's all.
I like the guy.
I ain't arguing.
I think the guy does a good job in media. He's done a good job there at James Madison. They got those players from somewhere, so I don't know if they don't like to recruit.
He better knock on the door.
If they don't like to recruit, then how did he get a team that won 30-something games?
Not me.
I think people sometimes just get that stereotype. And is it really recruiting now, or is it just NIL? And are you recruiting or NIL? And I think you got
to do a good job of knowing who you want, how you want to play. I think.
Yeah, I'm so sick of people talking about Zach Edey and he stays in the lane. I watched him against Tennessee. The guy's got a great clock in his head. He gets in there and he knows when to get out. He gets back in. So he goes in and out, and he posts deep, he posts strong, and he really doesn't foul. I know everybody wants to say, oh, he's so big. You can't penalize him for being 7'4", and he doesn't foul that much. And honestly, I think he gets in and out of the lane. I just think it's something for people to talk about, that he stays in the lane. I mean, there may be one time he stayed in there 4 or 5 seconds, but I think this guy is incredible. He posts strong. He gets in, he gets out, and he's so big you can't keep him. And then when he does catch it down in there, he can score it. So I think he's getting a bad rap, to be quite honest.
You have to remember too, folks, that the Burns kid comes up to his belt buckle. Burns is a big, heavy kid at NC State, and actually has really played well and passed the basketball well, uses the glass well. You look at him when you first see what them play, you think, they can I go win any games with him? Well, they haven't won but 9 in a row. And Edey was going to be so much bigger than he is. It's going to be unbelievable. I used it I used it, Burns versus Edey, but I don't know if it is or not. It's perimeter versus perimeter, probably.
Well, I think Burns will go at Edey. Those guys don't
sure he will.
Because they isolate the side, and he likes to bang you and back down the dribble. If you double, he's a great passer. And then can he score over Edey? I don't know. He was scoring over that guy from Duke, though. He made that kid from Duke look sick.
I thought the other day when Edey got the quick 3 fouls, that he did a terrific job of being darn sure he didn't get number 4.
I didn't think Edey even got it. Everybody was complaining because he only had 1 foul. Did he get the 3
I thought he had 3.
I think they were all complaining because he only had 1 foul. When he got a foul in the second half, the Tennessee fans finally sarcastically went crazy. All right, we'll take the break here. We got Tom Holding. I also want to ask you guys, I want to throw this out at you. I think, Justin, we have a lot of out-of-state students at Alabama these days, maybe more out-of-state than in-state. Somebody can call and give us the numbers. I guess you could probably look it up.
Sure, that's right.
And it was because of what? Nick Saban and football. All right. Now, Nick Saban retired. So my question was, well, does Alabama making the Final Four make up for Nick Saban retiring? Alabama's still in the limelight now, so will that help? Does that offset, Justin, Nick Saban retiring the Final Four as far as keeping out-of-state students coming to the University of Alabama? We can talk about it. I was curious what y'all think about that. I think it helps for sure. And I think maybe or does it matter? Is Alabama football just Alabama football and it's bigger than Nick Saban, and they'll keep coming because of that and what Kalen DeBoer is going to do? And if he doesn't do well with the out-of-state students, will it drop? And all the apartments down here they built, they become empty, Justin. There is a lot of places to rent here in Tuscaloosa. All right, we'll take the break. 2-minute truck there at 1330 Martin Road East. That's where you go pick up your boxes, your packing supplies, whatever you need in preparation for this move. Whether it's local, out of town, out of state, let the professionals handle it. They'll take great care of you and your stuff. It's a stressful deal, so let 2-men staff handle it. 205-247-5050. It's 2 Men in a Truck. Movers who care.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. The drive along McFarland from Airport Road across the river down to Jack Warner. That's about 9 minutes. On northbound 69 from 15th Street to Middle Area Road, a 12-minute drive there. And along 2059 between Skyland Boulevard and the 359 interchange, 8 minutes. No major accidents dotting the board at this still early hour. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Wednesday morning. Tuscaloosa City Schools has a plan to deal with the loss of $43 million in CARES Act funding this fall. The city has been able to save $10 million to make transition back to local funding smoother. City school officials do not believe the transition will disrupt services. A decision on what type and number of positions that will be transferred.
Or return it for free with Lume's 60-day money-back guarantee. That's LUMEdeodorant.com, code 555 to save 15% today.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Clearing, breezy, and cooler today. The high 65. Mostly fair tonight. The low 43. Tomorrow, partly sunny. The high 63. Friday, a sunny day. We start the day with lows in the 30s with some frost. The high Friday at 65. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 51 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
The best station in the state, breaking down Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Yellowwood pressure treated pine from Great Southern, going to build the fence, the deck, the perk. You want to build it to last, and you obviously want to use Yellowwood. Go to yellowwood.com to find the dealer closest to you. The Yellowwood hotline. Good morning, Tom. How are you?
Hey, Tom. Good morning, Barry. Good morning, Coach. How y'all?
Good.
I read where Musselman interviewed yesterday with SC, and that everything went well, and that we're going to pick it up and talk again today.
Yeah, usually in those situations, if you actually take the interview, you better get it, because most of the times you aren't welcome back. But I guess Arkansas's hands are kind of tied with the $12 million buyout if they get rid of him. So
I can have Tim Floyd on, a close friend of mine. He's retired now, great coach that coached out there at Iowa State and there in the pros. I might try to get him on in the next 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, I'd like to hear what he had to say, because, he's in tune with a lot of stuff. And but anyway, I read this, that there had come a place in the relationship between Musselman and the athletic director, which is not really good, not that good. And Musselman is trying to say that he's owed an increase in pay, and the board's telling the athletic director now's not a good time to do that, because the team, they ain't done anything, and so I think that's going on too. That's what I read out of the Memphis paper.
Yeah, I think he wanted a new contract, and why would you give him a new contract? I mean, that team.
That's what they're saying.
They underachieve. You shouldn't get a contract when you underachieve. They took care of him when he did well, but let's be honest. He doesn't deserve a new contract.
Well, that's what the board is saying. That maybe later, but I think too, like you said, I don't think they want to pay that $12 million. They're trying to see how they can get out of that.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Bronny James averaged 4 points a game. He's putting his name in the portal. A lot of people say that's probably good. He needs to get away from his dad and Hollywood and all that. And we'll see who wants LeBron James.
He's under a lot of pressure. Good Lord.
I wouldn't. I mean, would you
He's
take...
a good player.
His name, obviously, he's okay. And they talk about he and LeBron want to play together. Well, first of all, he's not an NBA player. So, I mean, they can play together in the backyard, Tom, not in the NBA.
That's correct. And, concerning Coach Saban and enrollment growth and things that you were talking about, I think Coach Saban really helped the growth of the number of students. Yeah, and but I was going to say this, that they weren't talking to me, but I was in a group that the conversation was going on about the same kind of topic that you brought up. Will it decrease, or will the lack of interest in Alabama go away because Coach Saban's not here anymore? But this person said that when he was talking to some kids that came from out of state, and he said, well, why would you come all the way across the country? They were from California, by the way. Why would you come all the way across the country to go to school to Alabama? They said football. And so maybe that means Coach Saban, but I just wondered if it's because of the intensity and the interest in football that the fans show around here is something that they want to be a part of, or was it, just Coach Saban?
I think it's interesting. You could maybe draw on the rising popular, not that basketball wasn't popular at the school before, but the interest in it, not with just Nate Oates, but all of those students that are coming from out of state that are maybe from these Chicago, New York, where basketball is a bigger deal than in the South. And just the cherry.
Well,
top,
I think that,
they get to the school they went to for football, but the basketball team is starting to play well as well.
Yeah, I don't think basketball is going to hurt at all. Do you, Tom?
No. I think that it was strong anyway, in my opinion. A lot of people say, oh, well, they don't like basketball. That's a lie. We love basketball at Alabama, always have. And, or the people I know anyway. And, but what I think has happened is the smart thing is the more successful all your programs are, softball, basketball, baseball, everything, it just it not necessarily does anything. It broadens the brand and touches more people, and that's what brings them in. I think the brand's there.
Yeah.
And I think that's what brings them in.
Yeah. Actually, it's a strong brand. It's a strong shirt. When you walk around, you leave this area, if you got something on, people walk by you no matter where you are. Somebody will say Roll Tide about every 5 minutes.
I guarantee you sure will.
All right.
See you, Barry.
Thank you, Tom. All right.
Barry?
Yeah.
Did you give me a Northside jacket? A jacket?
Pullover.
Just pull over shirt.
Northridge, not Northside.
I'm sorry, but not a jacket.
A pullover, I think. Yeah, why?
I've been looking for it this morning, couldn't find it. I thought it was a jacket.
I think it was a pullover. All right, back. I gave you a couple of dry fits, too. I decked him out, Justin. Paid a lot of money for those, too.
All
right, get to the Yellowwood hotline. What's up, Joe?
Morning.
Morning.
Hey, I think it's a great move by Musselman to get out.
Yeah.
Now's the time to go, man. He's got to go.
Yeah.
Because, he made the Elite Eight 2 years in a row. Then you have this season. Then we have ands and buts about it. And Wimp, I think it's ridiculous when you have 5 coaches at one school and one school only over the years who have won national championships, and you have a coach that's gone 1-4 the last 4 years, even though he is the last coach to win one there, and you're still going to keep him for another year, and the only way he can save his job is to make the Final Four.
Who is that?
You talking about Calipari?
You got it. You got Rupp, you got Hall, you got Tubby, you got Pitino, and you got him. No other school will ever have that in history in college basketball.
There's a lot more to it than that, Joe.
Oh, I know, but
number one, you've got to find the right person there. So I think it's not. I think it's not as easy as you think it might be.
All right, Joe. Okay, if you got him out of there, you could hand pick. They got to find somebody who can handle the job. Who would you take? Hurley?
He's in Waco, Texas, and you can go on down the list from there. The guy would take the job. It's that easy.
So you think Drew's better than Calipari?
Let me ask you this: would Nick Saban ever come to Alabama if it hadn't been for the history?
No.
Okay, you answered my question right there. That answers everything. When you are the number one basketball program in the country, you act like it. You agree?
Yeah, and I would think the timing of taking that job is good right now because you're not following anything where they've been doing anything extraordinary. So if you went in there and went to a Final Four or even Elite Eight and won the SEC tournament, they would be ecstatic because they're thirsty for that again, where it used to just be a given that they're going to win the SEC tournament and go deep in the tournament. Those days have gone. So it's almost like where Alabama football got to a little bit, isn't it, Joe? Till Coach came and brought it back, and then everybody got spoiled again. So Alabama's back spoiled again. Now we'll see what happens here with Coach DeBoer.
That's right.
So
it's right. But you agree. I mean, it's obvious. You got to, if you're number one, act like you're number one.
But you're going to pay $33 million?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, you are. You agree? I mean, there's
I
no
don't know what kind of money.
but.
I don't know what kind of money. I guess they got it. I don't know what kind of money they have over there.
And think about his off season. And I'm going to use Wimp as an example here because I'm a huge Alabama basketball fan. But what year did I get asked the most questions about Alabama basketball in the off season? It was the year we lost to South Alabama. I mean, people come up to me for a year. Why do you think it's going to go next year? Why? No, I mean, and look what he's going through. He's going through 4 years, not 1 year. He's going through 4 years. So think about that this offseason. Hey, I got one more question. This big boy from NC State.
Yeah.
Did he start out at Tennessee?
Yes. And then he went to Winthrop. And then he played 2 years at Winthrop, and then he ended up, I think this is his second year. These guys are playing 5 and 6 years. Now, I saw where the Cambridge kid that left Auburn, he's transferring against his 6th year. I think next year is the final year of all this COVID mess, and we can get all those guys out.
Well, how many of our guys are coming back, Barry?
Good question. I don't know. If you're Mark Sears, you probably can make more money in college than you can if you're not guaranteed to be a first-round pick. So I would think they got a good chance. If it wasn't for NIL, they'd have no chance. I think they'd have a chance to retain him. What do you think? I don't know. Yeah.
Well, Nelson's got to come back just to develop his body.
Yeah.
He's got to put some weight on if he wants to continue playing basketball for a while here, making some more money off of it. You can go all the way down the list there.
How much does this run help the NIL program?
It should help it substantially. You agree?
I would hope. If it doesn't, then you're in trouble.
Look how much money it's going to put in the bank for the coming years based off your NCAA payout for going to the tournament and how far you advance. Look at it that way. And Burns did a great job of stealing him in the contract. I don't know why. Oates wants an $18 million buyout unless he just wants to live in Tuscaloosa, Alabama till he dies, apparently. You agree with that?
Was it 18?
That's what I heard.
Yeah,
I think I heard Barry Sanderson say it's 18.
Was it 18? I know it goes
went
down.
Went from 12 to 18.
But I think the last year of it, he's making $7.5 million. Pretty good deal. So.
Yeah. But there's so much money out there now, and it's just like this deal at the university. In the early 80s, I was flying to Hartford, Connecticut every 3 months for a corporate meeting up there. And on the way up and on the way back, there would be boys or girls, either one, on that plane with me from Atlanta to Hartford, coming back or going from the University of Alabama because of the cost of getting an education at Alabama.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I bet you had to take a bunch of calls for 6 years out of the final 16. Woo!
Hey, Wimp, you were worth it. And look at it this way, Wimp. I'm not calling you to beat you up. I'm calling on you to say it was the only year like that, Wimp. It was the only year like it.
I have a hard time getting out of those 6 games.
Well, that year.
Let me just say this too. Without being ugly, I wasn't playing Clemson to go to the final 8.
Well, they played Clemson to go to the Final 4.
Oh, Final 4. I wasn't playing that kind of schedule. That's all.
Wimp, you know and I know there is nothing like this tournament. You play a 16-team tournament, and then you play a 4-team tournament. And there's so many variables in this thing, from officials to who you draw, where you play. God, it's unreal. But, hey, don't you think Alabama was due some luck in this tournament?
Well, sure they were. I mean, you had an athletic director that didn't mind them going west. I had one that got mad because I had to go west.
All right, Joe, does Alabama cover the line?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
11.5?
Yeah.
Why,
Barry? Why do we cover it, Barry? Because
I don't know. I didn't say we were. You said we were.
We will keep running up and down that court and shooting threes. That's why we will cover it. Oates looks like a genius on his analogy.
Probably right. You're probably right, Joe.
I don't know if y'all saw it or not, but Kenny Smith took it, but at halftime, and he said it, that Clemson's got to make more threes if they're going to win this game. They can't keep swapping 2 2s for 1 3. It's going to catch up with them.
Yeah, well, Kenny made some great points. I think he's smart, but also Alabama hit 10 threes in the second half. That don't hurt, does it?
That's right, but they also won by 7, Barry.
All right, so they beat you're saying Alabama's going to cover the 11.5. I'm going to give you UConn scores in the tournament. Stetson, 91-52.
You don't have to. I already know them. You don't have to.
Northwestern, 75-58. San Diego State, 82-52. They beat them by 30. And then Illinois, 77-52 with a 30-0 run to start the second half.
And the weird thing about that, Barry, is there was all those 4 teams. There was only one team that had a good offense, and they're the ones that had the 30-0 run put on. The other 3 did not have enough offense to play with them.
Yeah.
Look, Oates has done camps with these guys. They know everything about him. He knows everything about them. This is, and I'll be the first one to eat crow Monday, didn't I, when I said the Clemson game?
I don't know.
And then the Creighton game. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Yeah, I have no idea. I think this thing could go either way. I think UConn could blow them out. It could be tight, like you said, or maybe Alabama hits 15 to 16, 17 threes and pulls the upset. You always see crazy upsets, so whoever would have thought that UNLV team would have lost, so you never know.
So you actually think we may see a Tennessee repeat here? Is that what you're saying?
What do you mean?
The way they just beat us like a drum in Knoxville, is that what you're saying?
Well, that's what
21 points.
That's what UConn's done to everybody else. So it can happen. Now UConn is good, and they got 5 guys in double figures. They spread it out, and they are tough and physical, right?
Yeah, but Barry, who's the one team to beat them and beat them double digits?
Creighton.
And that's the best 3-point team they faced all year. So
they had just played Marquette on Saturday, which was, when they drilled Marquette 81-53. Then they played Creighton on that Tuesday, and Creighton beat them 85-66 that day. So
that's right.
We'll see. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you all.
All right, phone lines still open, 205-342-9904. We'll take this break. Let's talk about Bob Prince and Prince Glover and Hayes.
Prince Glover and Hayes are attorneys that can help you if you come into an accident that should not have occurred. It's just that simple. People have fixed things, and there's no point in it. You thought it was this, it was that, and you got injured. Or you're on the highways, and somebody comes after you because you're driving too slow, or whatever it might be, or you're looking at your telephone like most of these ladies do on 280. And so whatever happens there, and causes you harm mentally and physically, then you need to see Prince Glover Hayes at 345-1234. They know all the laws that had happened prior to this, the new laws they know, and the people that have been successful and the people who have been unsuccessful. Not with them, but other people. 345-1234, Prince Glover Hayes.
PrinceLaw.net is the website. Always remember, if they don't win, you don't pay. All right, the 2 kids last night from Alabama, they're coming to Alabama in the McDonald's game. I'm looking them up. Aiden Sherrill played 16 minutes. He didn't score. Deron Reed played 12, but he was 2 of 4. 5 rebounds, 4 points. So they didn't have big games in the McDonald's game. That don't mean anything. But anyway, I just wanted to look at that. You listen.
Deal or text DEAL to 511-511. Text DEAL to 511-511. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
Mr. SEC Tournament Wimp Sanderson gives you his excellent analysis every weekday on Inside the Locker Room, right here on Tide 100.9.
Yellowwood pressure treated pine from Great Southern. If it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, you don't want it. Yellowwood.com to find the dealer close to you. I'm reading here that says Southern Cal really has Coach Musselman by the you-know-what. I ain't going to say the word. They can offer him a lower amount of money, and he really doesn't have much of an option. He can either coach there or come back to a fan base that now despises him. So, sometimes they say if you're going to go interview for a job, you better get it because you won't ever be welcome back here. I think he's put himself in that situation there in Fayetteville, don't you?
Yeah, I think he has. I think we'd like to have begged him to stay and say, yeah, Coach, you're going to turn it around. You'll stay here with us. And I don't think they did that.
Yeah. Back to my original question, guys. Phone lines are open, 205-342-9904. You lose Coach Saban. I think people are really excited about Kalen DeBoer here locally. Nationally, I don't know. They'll see how he does nationally, but it doesn't seem like the morning around. You can answer this better than anybody. When Coach Bryant left, it seemed like there was mourning around the program, maybe because he passed away so quick after retiring. But Coach Saban getting out, I think people got over it a lot quicker than I thought they would, to be quite honest with you. I think they want this guy to do so well. Why is that?
Well, it's a good question. The problem with Coach Bryant was who are they going to get? All the who's that I can put on his telephone was who are they going to get? And when I went to fortunate enough to find out what they tried to do when they hired Ray, because I called Ray, he was at the hotel in Birmingham, and asked him about my basketball program and a little bit about, because he'd been so good to me. And so when I get to the appointment with the president at the university on Sunday, I found out who he wasn't going to take. And he named off several. I think that's right. Several that he wasn't going to take. And Ray, I can have Galen McCullough on. It might be interested in the dead period. We'll have some dead periods in May and July and June. Have something to talk about. That Ray wanted the job more than anybody else wanted it, and so he wanted it. And there was a period of time there where we were waiting to see what was going to happen, because I'm telling this wrong. Because in this particular case, I went to Joab's house after Ray left, not when Coach Bryant left. I'm sorry, but the people that were involved with it were not the president so much, that they were the Galen McCullers and those kinds of people that got involved in it. And when two of them said, "I'm going to have to talk with so and so. Let me go visit with so and so." When they said to him, "When can we, if we were to offer it the job to you, when could we announce it tomorrow?" He said, "Yes." And so that started it. The biggest problem that Ray had, this may be you probably won't jump off of this. Well, any big deal was, as we got into it, besides his personality was great for me, was the indoor facility. And And that was a big, big hang-up for everybody, including Ray, including the president. And that was the big thing. You don't have that now. You got everything that you want. And certainly the athletic director has done a good job of selecting the person that he wants. You got to select somebody. Everybody is not perfect. You got to select somebody. And at this point in time, I would agree with what you said. The people, especially the people around the university, are satisfied with what's going on.
Yeah. Justin, you stay here for at least 3 shows, 4, I guess. If you talk about Martin's, our show, then you got Gary, and then you and White kind of do your own show. So you hear more about what people are saying. See, I thought when Coach left, it would be just absolute depression. I think there was for a day or two, and then Greg Byrne made the hire, and then people kind of wanted to wait and see. And I think Kalen DeBoer being different than Saban, and when I mean different, I mean
personality
difference, yeah. Very approachable. Like Nick Saban was not approachable. Like if Nick Saban walked in the room, you kind of got scared.
I was in a press conference the first time last year at A-Day.
Yeah.
I'm further away from him than me and you now, Barry, and I was very intimidated.
Yeah, and that he has that. He's a little guy, but he has that intimidation factor. So he opened practice. He's approachable. He's playing music at practice. That's different. He's letting the assistant coaches talk to the media. Then the recruiting is going well. He gets the kid from Saraland. I don't sense the mourning right now around this program. Now, the proof's going to have to be in the pudding when they start playing, but I'm almost feel like they've kind of, I don't want to say forgotten Coach Saban because that would be stupid, but they're not as worried about it as I think they originally thought they would be. Is that fair, Dan?
The fourth Saturday of the month it will be.
Georgia?
Yeah, and the reason for that is that the look back is that Alabama's been very successful against them. And that will be whether it should be or shouldn't be, and it shouldn't be, but it will be, a big deal. Georgia will be good again, and so it will be, Georgia will have a good book on Alabama and what they're doing new, because it's the 4th game, and of course Alabama have a good book on Georgia. So it'll be that 4th game will be where they and the problem that you have with fans is you can be good for a while. They get down on you very quickly. They get disgusted with you very quickly. Your personality helps some that it's a little bit slower. Your personality with one coach who was at Alabama got down quick. But it was one coach that comes in, they stayed with him because of his personality. And so that's a factor, and I would agree totally with what you said, personality-wise, although you didn't use the word personality, you said the same thing. I'm thinking that deal there makes DeBoer a guy that will stick through that a little bit, but will have a hard time with the Auburn, but I think the Auburn game's in Tuscaloosa. So, he'll have a hard time, but that'll be the startings of it.
Yeah. Kane Womack was on with Christian and Corey yesterday, and you hear him talk. Guy sounds like pretty darn good. I mean, but I never thought the guy that went to Ole Miss, what was his name? Defense coordinator. I never thought he sounded very good in the press conferences. Right. Like he didn't sound, but Coach didn't let him talk. So this guy, when he talks, he makes you feel good. Now, they're going to have to start playing too. So, we've heard guys, you can talk all you want. Yeah. And he did a great job on their show yesterday. I thought he was terrific. So if you didn't hear that interview, go listen to it. I thought the guy was very thoughtful. He seemed happy to be here, has a plan. And so everybody right now is very, very optimistic. When you say that, Judge, even more, I thought everybody would think this program's going to not the bottom, but going to drop a lot, where everybody now thinks they're going to be in the top 12 and be playing for the national championship again next year.
I think they're going to probably be in the playoffs. Don't you think, though, Barry, it was so important for Coach DeBoer to have those early wins in recruiting?
Oh, that was huge.
Because if we didn't get Ryan Williams, I think we're doom and gloom right now.
Yeah. Well, I said that. He was the most important recruit for him, and he was, I think the kid loved Alabama, and they did a good job, whatever it took to get him. So, and then, having Jalen Milroe come back, and the way he handles himself in the media is very good for Coach.
Barry, in the interview, the so-called interview up there where he is, was the first thing without being ugly, was the first question DeBoer asked was about the money, not his personal money, but the recruiting money.
NIL. Yeah. I think he knew it would be good at Alabama. I don't think so. I think it was probably the only job he would have left for, to be quite honest with you. And I think he embraced coming here and following Coach Saban. That's what I think Greg Byrne wanted to hear that. And he wasn't scared of it, and he was going to embrace it. He kind of has I don't want to say laid back, but kind of a laid back personality where I don't think it does bother him, Nick Saban. I don't think Nick Saban bothers him being over in that football building, with his, not football building, but the stadium with his office. So anyway, we can talk about all that. We'll take the break here. We'll get back with him. We'll wrap up the, first hour. We got, Bill Cameron will join us at 8:15. I think Auburn's close to maybe getting rid of Under Armour and maybe going to Nike. So that'll be big, I think, as well. You're the Tide 100.9 is the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We are seeing a bit of a backup on southbound 69 approaching Union Chapel Road, which is pretty normal for this time of the morning. Now, if you're continuing further south down into Northport along Lurling Wallace crossing the Hugh Thomas onto the University exit, your moving problem.
It's not hard.
It's perfect.
It starts here. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Clearing, breezy, and cooler today. The high 65. Mostly fair tonight. The low 43. Tomorrow, partly sunny. The high 63. Friday, a sunny day. We start the day with lows in the 30s with some frost. The high Friday at 65. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 51 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Follow the Crimson Tide on their journey to another national championship. Touchdown, Alabama! On your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. I don't think Pressure Treated Pine from Great Southern brought you this 7 o'clock hour. If it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, you don't want it. One of the things I don't like, I saw Kansas got a kid from North Dakota State. He averaged 18 points a game. If you go to these smaller Division I schools, the Furmans, the Winthrops, the North Dakota States, and you average 16 to 18 points a game, guess what? They gone. They go. Because they want to go to these bigger programs and make more money. So these guys leave these programs. They said every single player at Louisville is in the transfer portal. Now, some of those guys, they got no numbers. I don't know where they think they're going. And I also saw, Dad, that Dusty May is hiring Mike Boynton from Oklahoma State to be one of his assistants there.
Right.
So Mike Boynton.
Yeah.
Will be going to Michigan, so I need to send Mike a message today. Congratulate him on that. All right, we'll take this top of the hour break. We'll talk about Tuscaloosa Toyota when we get back with Justin. Just a Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell Ice Cream at all Winn-Dixie supermarkets and Marion Food Value.
It's the Tide 100.9 30K Workday Payday. Woo! Win cash every weekday 8 to 5. Here's this hour's cash code.
659. Again, that's 659. The code is 659.
Enter that code now on the Tide 100.9 app. Click on the 30K payday button and enter the code for a chance to win $30,000.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Eddie Garcia.
In the NBA, the 76ers beat the Thunder 109-105. Philadelphia welcomed back former MVP Joel Embiid after he missed 2 months following knee surgery. He played 29 minutes, had 24 points and 6 rebounds in the win. Nuggets knock off the Spurs 110-105. Nikola Jokic 42 points, 16 rebounds for Denver as the Nuggets reclaim the top spot in the Western Conference. They're a half game up on Oklahoma City and Minnesota. The Timberwolves do keep pace with a 113-106 win over the Rockets. Heat knock off the Knicks 109-99. Kings beat the Clippers 109-95. Bucks lose to the Wizards 117-113 despite star Giannis Antetokounmpo getting a triple-double. And the Mavericks fall to the Warriors 105-100 despite their star Luka Doncic having a triple-double. In baseball, Bryce Harper hit 3 home runs, drove in 6. Phillies beat the Reds 9-4. Brewers are 4-0 after topping the Twins 3-2. Diamondbacks hand the Yankees their first loss of the season 7-0.
Inside the Locker Room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to the second hour of Inside the Locker Room. Allstate Insurance agent Andrew Kniffer. He's my agent. Let Andrew become yours. He and his staff are ready, waiting to send you a quote, 205-722-9201. You want to have good insurance. Allstate obviously does. You want to have somebody that knows the area. Andrew and his staff absolutely do that. So if you have a situation, they know exactly where to send you. Give them a call today, 205-722-9201. Well, March Madness has been going on, Justin, and I think they had March Madness out at Tuscaloosa Toyota. They were selling so many cars, it was madness out there. We'll find out the exact total. Let's get to the Andrew Kniffer hotline. We'll go down to Skyland Boulevard, get Justin in. Good morning, Justin. How are you?
Morning. Man, I'm doing good. How are y'all guys doing?
What was the number? What did we end up with in March? What was the March Madness total number?
We sold 380.
Oh, my gosh, 380?
380 on the dot. We did.
Well, that's unbelievable.
I think it was 211. It was 211 new and 169 used.
Say that again.
211 new cars and 169 new cars. Hold on a minute. No. Yes, 211, 169 for 380.
380 cars in 1 month. Is that a record?
It's not, but it's approaching. I think four. Around 410 or 420 is the record. So, and that was just, I think that was back in, it was back before 2010, but we've approached those 380 marks on a, not necessarily a regular basis. Last month was unbelievable, but, you know, we averaged somewhere between, on slow months, somewhere in the upper twos, and then, you know, on our busy months, we're somewhere in the low to mid threes. So this was a above average month. So, and I've told you guys this, it's not just being funny. We're different. I mean, we sell our cars, not what we hope to get, not throwing numbers up on a wall and saying, hey, I mean, we price our cars to get rid of them because we're not in love with any of them. We want them gone. The customer, the buying process, when you do it like that, the buying process is easy. We don't have to make a lot of money off one car. We try to sell in volume, man, and so that's why we sell that many, because ain't nobody buying a car if the car's priced too high. You can't sell 380. You might price a few cars too high and get some suckers, but, you know, we price our stuff because we're not in love with it, and that's how we get rid of them. Well,
it's a secret sauce. You guys price it right, but you also got a great vehicle to sell over there. You got variety. Just talk about some of the hot sellers over there right now, Justin.
Yeah, I mean, you just do the. I mean, 169 used is 169 used cars is going to about outsell every dealership as a whole. Okay, and 380 is going to about outsell every dealership combined. Okay, that's huge numbers. That's realistic stuff. So you start talking about that, and then you go back into, well, you got to have a lot of good trade-ins. So on the used car side, when you're selling a bunch of new ones like we do, we're getting high volume and high quality trade-ins because nobody's buying junk. They want something that has good warranty. They want something that's been serviced, from the ground up, and that's what we do. We call it, we give our service guys basically a blank check. So they go through all of our used cars. If it needs tires, brake pads, whatever it needs, I mean, it gets done before it hits the lot. So when the customer leaves, they don't have to worry about anything. And then, on the new cars side, you've got, the Grand Highlander, and you've got Camrys and RAV4s, and this stuff just flies off the lot. So you got so much inventory to choose from, and that's what makes it easy.
Yeah.
But neither one of you guys have caught on.
It's you.
I be buying a car out there has done it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, y'all never say that.
Well, and then what we got to figure out to do is to make this process even better. I mean, obviously Nate Oates is figuring out things about his team to make things better. We got to get Wimp in there delivering these cars and setting up people's stuff, and I mean, anything you can do to advance.
I can show how to turn the radio on. I haven't got the light in the door to come on when I open the door, but I'm working on it.
You put it on door.
Right above, right at the top up there, it says door on a little button.
Yeah,
and
slide it to door, and that means when the door is open, the light is on.
The light is on.
When the door shuts, the light eases out.
It's tricky, though. When I shut the door, the light goes off.
That's what it's supposed to do. You don't want the light on when you shut the door.
Oh, Big Tracy.
That's like when it's dark, you turn the lights on. When it's light, you turn them off, right? And if it's raining, what do you do, Justin?
Look, I like Pandora.
You do?
And I don't know how to go from Pandora to our station.
Yeah, so all you do is go back to the main audio screen and you go to FM and you go to 100.9 and hopefully everybody out there listens to 100.9.
But I got to punch FM, don't I?
Yeah.
Audio,
audio to get it back to
not audio. I got is it audio I punch?
Well, to get you back to the radio part, and then you got to hit FM or auxiliary or whatever.
I don't think it's audio's on mine. I don't think audio's on mine.
Hey, how is your mom doing, Barry?
She's moved facilities. I'm trying to go see her today, although somebody said they had visiting hours for only 4 to 8. Anyway, she's starting rehab today. I think they're going to meet with her this morning. Dad can tell you better than me, and assess her and see where she's at, and then.
She has stuff today at 9, 10. Pardon me, 8, 9, and 11. I'm gonna try to go at 10 if I can. Their doctors get there at 4:30 in the morning. And this.
Well, I think it would have been Well, you're not. Are you going to the Final Four?
No.
I know things have gone on, but man, that would have been great to have you out there as a. Obviously the foundation was built through you.
I wasn't invited to start with, but that's just fine. I wasn't supposed to be invited. I'm not part of that team, but I'm not going.
Yeah.
You know what he said, Justin?
What he said?
It was good that she broke her left arm because she cooks with her right. But she wasn't listening when he said that. So
yeah, he knows she's not listening.
Hands a lot better with your right.
That's kind of like when he says you need to go Valentine's shopping the day after because the flowers are half price.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Hey, I got to tell you guys, we have kicked off the buy 3, get 1 for $1 tire sale right now at Tuscaloosa Toyota. Here's the great thing about it. it runs all the way through the month of April. You got a whole month to come down there and buy 3 tires, get 1 for $1. You cannot beat that deal. And it is not some phony deal. It's a buy 3, get 1, and it's not like we're selling, a certain type of tire. That you have the option to pick whatever tire you want, and it's buy 3, get 1 for $1.
If you buy 6, you get 2.
Huh?
Yeah, if you buy 6, you get 2. Yeah, buy 3, you get 1.
Yeah, you got 3. Hey, you got 2 cars that need tires. You buy 6 and you get 2 for $1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could keep doing that. If you buy 9, you can get 4.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. And so that's going on for the whole month. Toyota has continued, even though we selling this stuff like crazy. Toyota's continued all of our incentive with financing. Somebody got a rate yesterday as low as in the 2s. I mean, it is absolutely crazy. You got to have some incentives. You got to be pushing some stuff, and that's what Toyota's doing right now, and that's what gets you to $380 for the month, and we'll look to do that same thing this month.
Well, get back to work, Justin. You can't sell $380 talking to us, so get back there and get to work.
Well, you can't talking to me. You can't.
Yeah, well, talking to him.
That's right. Hey, and look, so we'll talk next week and see if Alabama keeps playing amazing and see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what.
Okay.
All right, thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Hey, man, y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Justin. There's Justin Troll out at Tuscaloosa Toyota. Go to TuscaloosaToyota.com. That website's cool. When you pull it up, a lady will pop up and say, hey, how can I help you today? And if you want her to help you, just type in something. She'll help you. If you don't, just don't answer and just look at what you want. But they got all the inventory right there on the website. I would take the break here. We'll get back. We'll get Bill Cameron in. We'll find out, is Auburn jealous down there? What's going on? I think Bruce Pearl said he was never say Roll Tide, but he was happy for Nate Oates. I don't know if he really meant that, but he said it. Royal Cleaners, I know this. They want to make your life easy. They'll come right to you, pick up all the cleaning, get it cleaned up, deliver it right back there to you. If you want to drop off, they got 3 locations in the Northport, Tuscaloosa area. There's one on 2002 University Boulevard, 4851 Rice Mine Road. They're out on Bridge Avenue in Northport. But if you want them to come to you, just dial this, 205-391-0034. They'll come right to you, pick it up, get it cleaned up. They'll hang it, press it, deliver it right back in the bags, and you'll be ready to go. You listen to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We have a 20-minute drive on southbound 69 from Middle Area Road to 15th Street. Now, we do have some backup as you approach Union Chapel Road intersection there that does tend to back up at this time of the morning. On the Lurling Wallace, we've got our normal bridge backup, but once you get a
call or text DEAL to 511-511. Text DEAL to 511-511. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Clearing, breezy, and cooler today. The high 65. Mostly fair tonight. The low 43. Tomorrow, partly sunny. The high 63. Friday, a sunny day. We start the day with lows in the 30s with some frost. The high Friday at 65. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 51 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. Right, we get right up to the Yellowwood Hotline. He's the ESPN 106.7. The Drive down in Auburn, Opelika, every Monday 4 to 6. Joins us every Wednesday, Bill Cameron. Good morning, Bill.
Hey, Barry.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you guys?
We're doing good. Dad's on with us. I think you just heard him take a phone call there, so he'll be back here with us in just 1 second. Alabama, a little talk hoops real quick. They made the Final Four. Bruce Pearl's made the Final Four. I mean, there's been a lot of, I get so tired of this back and forth from the Alabama fans to the Auburn fans about now you can't say we hadn't made the Final Four. Instead of just being happy that you're going to the Final Four, we got to try to rub it in Auburn's face for some reason. But just kind of what kind of response have you got down there about Alabama finally breaking through and headed to Phoenix?
Yeah, I tell you what, it is added to the angst of losing in the first round to Yale. I mean, there's no question about that. So, yeah, I mean, we've had quite a few folks that have said, it hadn't been long enough to have something over Alabama. So, I mean, hey, what a ride it's been for Alabama. But I mean, that's what rivalries are about. I mean, you want to be able to have something over your rival, and right now Auburn's struggling to find something.
Yeah, that.
Anything at all that you can tell about Auburn's basketball recruiting? We know Johnson is going to leave. That's no big deal. Everybody has people leave. That's not an announcement. But anything at all that you, if you're allowed to call names of people that you think you're going to get or anything like that?
Well, I mean, they're one of a few teams that's interested in a couple of point guards. One of them, J.P. Pegues, is from Furman, is either came in this past weekend or coming in this weekend. He's a guy that Auburn would really like to have. Thought it was pretty interesting last week when Bruce had sort of his exit press conference. We can probably get into that. But one of the things, the most interesting thing I thought he said was that Jahad Pettiford, who is ranked as one of the top point guards in the country, he said he's not going to be a point. He's going to be a two guard because of his shooting ability, even though he's not a very big guy. He's only 6'1", 170 or something like that. But I think one of the reasons he did that is to let point guards that they're recruiting know that, hey, there's playing time for them. Interesting thing right now is what's going to happen. Is Aiden Holloway going to be back or not? That's a question I don't know the answer to right now.
Bruce Pearl did have his end-of-the-year press conference. He took the chance to defend Chad Baker-Mazara. I'm sure Bruce Pearl, you could tell me better, his players like him. I think he'll defend them. It's like, you're going after his son when you start talking about his players. He's going to defend these guys. And so I think they're loyal to one another. He didn't like the negative publicity, maybe some of the stuff that the fans were saying there. He made it a point to try to set the record straight there. Just what else came out of that press conference?
Yeah, I mean that was the big takeaway, and a lot of let's face it, Auburn's social media presence is pretty strong. They love to get all over teams when they win. And I really think it's more than a little childish at times. They don't like it when somebody comes back at them. And of course, nobody was expecting Auburn to lose to Yale, and they came down hard on Chad. They came down pretty hard on Bruce. Bruce said, hey, you can come after me, just don't come after my players. But again, I think there's a little bit of a ulterior motive in there as well, and that's just I'm sure they're hearing when they're recruiting some players that other schools will say, hey, look at this fan base. Yeah, they're great when they're winning, but when they lose, they'll turn on you. So I think that had a little bit to do with it. But I definitely think that Bruce Pearl and Auburn, the Auburn coaching staff would really want to have Chad Baker-Mazara back next year. I mean, because you're wondering exactly, who's going to be able to make plays for you. And he's one of the few guys that really is a playmaker. He can bring the ball up the court and create himself. And I think that's what Auburn's looking for more of. And they definitely want to bring him back.
Yeah.
Is it possible to have a quarterback controversy at Auburn?
Is it possible not to? Or
no, it's possible to have one.
Sure, it's possible. I think you've always got people that at most places the backup quarterback has to be better than the starter, doesn't he? I mean, it sure seems like
I
that's
just wanted.
the case at Auburn.
I probably worded it the wrong way, but I wanted to talk about that.
Oh yeah. I mean, and the thing is, yesterday we spent a little time with Hugh Freeze, his pre-A-Day game press conference, and he won't go so far as to say that Peyton is the guy. But, I mean, when you watch it, he's always the first one up, and he has been the most confident. The word out of the scrimmage this past Saturday it was one of Peyton's better days. I think he's had a really, really good spring. But fans, there are an awful lot of fans that still remember that bowl game and feel like, oh, there's got to be somebody better than that. Hank Brown looked good in the bowl game, and he's looked good this spring, but I really think that the pecking order appears to be Peyton, then Hank Brown and Holden Geriner battling for the number 2 spot with Walker White still learning the ropes. And it sounds like that's what Hughes says, but fans just want to, I think they want to see a fresh face. They want to see something else out there. We were talking about this the other day. You look at the transfer quarterbacks, and they're all over the place. So many of the top quarterbacks in the country this past year were guys that had transferred in, but most of them were in their second year. You look at the improvement in guys like Jaden Daniels and Spencer Rattler, and just you go on and on with guys who had an okay or a good first year and then really stepped it up their second year. And, Peyton Thorne's a guy that didn't even get to go through spring last year. So I think it makes sense that he would be better this year. But it's funny, there are quite a few fans that just feel like, oh, there's got to be somebody better, anybody but Peyton. But from everything we've seen and heard, he's having a really solid spring.
John Cohen's, when is that Under Armour deal over? There's been a lot of talk in the media about a new deal, with somebody. I'm assuming it's Nike. What do you know about that? And when does his Under Armour deal end, Bill?
I believe it goes through the 24-25, or at least into 2025.
Okay.
So that's one of the reasons that I don't think you've heard one thing, anything concrete on that. Again, I have not heard anything that doesn't indicate that it's going to be Nike. It sure feels like it's going to be Nike, but I guess, if you're going to have Under Armour deal at least through the end of this year, then there's no rush to go ahead and do it. I would think if it was going to be, if Auburn was going to re-up with Under Armour, they'd go ahead and do that.
Yeah. Well, I know kids like Nike. Do you think that has a big deal in recruiting as to what shoe you're wearing and what the apparel that you're wearing? I know the kids seem to like Nike.
I think it has some impact. I don't think it is as big a deal as some folks might make it. It probably wouldn't hurt. I tell you what would be nice, though. It'd be nice to have Charles Barkley and Bo Jackson and Frank Thomas be able to wear the Auburn gear that Auburn's wearing. Since that all three of those guys are affiliated with Nike, so it would be nice to have those guys doing it and have everybody on the same page. But yeah, we'll see. I wish they'd go ahead and just get it done.
Yeah. The schedule makers, I understand it's a tough league. The schedule makers are not being very nice to Butch in Auburn baseball. Wow. You open up at Vanderbilt, then you play number 1 Arkansas. Then you go to Texas A&M, and this weekend, you got Tennessee. At least it is at home. And then Kentucky, who's actually winning the league. That's your next series. Can this Auburn baseball team salvage this season and turn this thing around? But man, there's no break in this schedule with the SEC. I was hoping maybe it would lighten up a little bit on the back end, but I don't see, much relief coming. Just your thoughts about where they're headed.
No, they really, they just got to find an answer or two on the mound. Because they're playing bat pretty well. You look at, they scored 24 runs in 3 games this past week out in College Station, and it wasn't enough. We talk with Cooper McMurray every week, and you feel the frustration that they have a little bit there. Part of it is, just Joseph Gonzalez has not been Joseph Gonzalez yet, but the schedule, it's not going to get any easier. But the thing to remember is Auburn was 5-10 last year at the midway mark and finished 17-13. So they've got a lot of guys that have gone through it. They've just got to find an answer or two on the mound, somebody that can give them 5 good innings. One of the things that was really disappointing last week is Tanner Bauman, who's been really good for him out of the bullpen, just couldn't find the plate. He came in and walked 3 and hit a couple of guys in 1 inning, and that ended up being the difference in one of the games against Texas A&M. But, Tennessee's another top 5 team coming in. The fact that it is at home and it's A-Day weekend, there ought to be huge crowds this weekend. Auburn really, really needs to win this series. If they can do that, just get some momentum and I think get a little confidence in some of their pitchers. then they've got a chance. But yeah, I mean, it's not looking great. But then you look around and LSU's 2-7 in conference play. I mean, it is just crazy how tough this league is.
Yeah, I saw a deal the other day that when Mississippi State won the national championship, the next year they were last in the SEC. Ole Miss won the national championship, and then this year LSU is 2-7 after winning the national championship. So that's tough, isn't it, Phil?
Oh, it is. It is. Of course, I mean, I guess a lot of schools would take a national championship and then the next year drop if you could be guaranteed you're going to get that title. But yeah, so we'll see. I mean, they got to keep just chopping wood. I think they've got a chance. Like I said, they can swing the bat. They can hit it with anybody. They've just got to see. I think we talked to Bush today and find out if there's going to make any changes there as far as the weekend plans.
Will Alabama beat the 11.5-point line against Connecticut?
Do what now?
He was asking, will Alabama cover the 11.5 against Connecticut? Connecticut's blown everybody out. The line currently is 11.5 on Saturday.
Yeah, so it started at 10.5 and is going up. I've never seen a team do what UConn's done for the last couple of years in the tournament. They just walked through it, and not a game has been close. I got a feeling this one's going to be closer than that. I mean, they've led every opponent by at least 30 points at some point in the ball game. Unless Alabama can't hit a shot, unless they have an offside shooting. Yeah, it is. I mean, I think they should. And I look and I feel like it should be decent matchups, but man, it's just unbelievable what UConn's done.
Yeah, it's that's one. If you're gambling, just pass on it because you just don't know. Because Alabama can get high, right. but Connecticut could. They're blowing everybody. When you take the Big Ten champion and you have a 30-0 run against them, whew, that's brutal, Bill. So
Barry said no gambling, so you can't gamble on that game.
I don't know. And then the NC State with a Cinderella run should be an interesting matchup with the two big kids from NC State and Purdue going against one another.
Yeah, it will. It's going to be interesting to see if Edey can back them down. I mean, he's got about a half a foot advantage, but he's definitely going against a weight disadvantage. So I think that'll be interesting, but it's hard not to see Purdue and UConn in the title game.
Yeah. If Auburn basketball, I mean, you would think if you were getting in the portal, you'd already be in there. Is KD the only guy in there? Because I know it ends May 1, but I mean, you would think these guys, they were going to go. And what's the status of Janiah Broome, and can he come back, and do you think he will?
Yeah, Janiah can come back, and I know they're talking with him, and I think everybody, including Janiah, realizes he can't wait too long to make a decision, because Auburn needs to know if they're going to be going after another 5 this coming year. I do believe they've really been working on NIL deals and trying to see what he would be projected to make if he decided to go pro, or overseas or here in the States. I think Auburn's got a decent shot of bringing him back, and but they really need to know something pretty soon, because players are making up their minds where they're going. We're talking about this. What do you guys think about the way that it's being done now, where if you're fortunate, if your team's on a run and you're playing in the postseason, how fair is that you're having to try to be recruiting these guys in the portal while you're still finishing up this year? You don't even know what your roster is going to be for next year.
Yeah, I think it's terrible. I think it's terrible. I think you should wait till the Tuesday after the Final Four, open it up for a month, and give them a month, and then because it's not really, I don't know if Alabama's going to have any players leaving or not, but opportunities that maybe they would like to have may be gone because they can't put their name in the portal now while they're playing. And so let's say a kid wanted to go to particular school, well, they can't wait. So I think it's bad all the way around, Bill, to be honest with you. I think that I can't get over the Caden Proctor thing, that we have a system in place where he can go to Iowa, take their NIL money, and then say, no, I'm not. And then he's going to come back to probably Alabama, which, he can't even, the portal's not even, he can take their money and come back. That's the system that we have. I don't
think you need to use that language, take the money. From what I understand, when he got there, the Iowa players weren't very hostile. It was a kind of a mess. So,
but still, even if they were nice as they can be, he still can do to be allowed to do that is what I'm saying. To be able to go there, take their money, never play it down, and come back or go and leave before you ever. I mean, come on now, we can't. Maybe they weren't nice to him, but I'm saying he could have done it if they were nice. So you got to have a system in place where they can't do it, can't you? Don't you, Bill?
Yeah, well, why would they be very happy? They knew what the situation had been. He was from there in Iowa. He committed to Iowa, then he left, and they knew he was only coming back for money. It'd be a little while before I'd be very friendly with somebody that I felt like didn't really want to be there and was only there for the money. So, and I guess since the situation is what it is, you can't blame him for doing that. But yeah, there's got to be something where you have an idea where that a kid's at least going to be with you for a little while. I just don't know. I mean, I don't know the answer. If I did, then I'd be in a much better shape in my retirement than I am right now.
I think some of the Alabama players went with him on spring break. I guess Iowa paid for the spring break for Alabama players. So, thank you, Iowa.
That is great.
Yeah. All right, Bill, tell everybody about your show down there and where they can get all y'all's great stuff.
Yeah, we've got plenty going on, as I said, with 8A weekend coming up, big baseball series coming in this weekend, and trying to follow, what's going on with rosters in basketball, and of course looking at the Final Four. It's The Drive every day, 4 to 6 on ESPN 106.7. You can check us online at either radioalabama.net or ESPNAU.com. Love for all listeners to come on in and join us.
Thank you, Bill.
All right, guys, have a great week. Good luck.
All right, there's Bill Cameron. Tune them in down there if you want to catch. If Peyton Thorne's their starting quarterback, which I guess he's going to be. Is Peyton Thorne any good, Justin, Dad?
I don't know.
I didn't see it. He's little, too. When I was down there for that Tiger walk, he was walking through there. He looked like a manager.
I will tell our listeners that it was a little bit of a break had to do something. But I got Tim Floyd. He's going to be on tomorrow. At 8:15.
Okay, so we'll have JC. We'll have Tim Floyd on tomorrow. All right, we're going to take the break here. Let's tell them about Bryant Bank. Before we get to break, we'll have a short segment. Then I'm going to duck out. I got to take Jack to Birmingham. I'll let you guys finish up the last segment. But let's tell them about Bryant Bank.
Well, Bryant Bank has the 4 locations that we talk about, but their locations are more than in Tuscaloosa. They have locations in Birmingham, as I've told you. I have a place here that I go to. Columbiana, I drive through Columbiana a lot. They have one there. Several of them here in Birmingham and also in Gulf Shores. So they're the bank that really looks after you, I think, because they're homegrown. They know exactly what they need to do to please you. They have online banking and great service around the clock, which is darn important. They do a good job with the schools in the Tuscaloosa area, but they are it's a homegrown bank, which I think is important. Been there a long time. We've got the situations now where we have fraud. We have banks being targeted by fraud attempts nearly every day, trying to get people's money, trying to put something on the internet to make you read it and withdraw your money and so forth and so on. They're on top of that. So I think Bryant Bank is somebody you can trust, very, very good, very knowledgeable. I would recommend that you visit with them. If you looking to buy a home, Archie Weaver can help you with that. So I guarantee you Bryant Bank would be a great place for the future, and recommend that you go by and tell them that you heard on Inside the Locker Room. So we'll take this break, and then I'll come back and Justin and I'll finish up.
All right, I'll take the break with you. You guys got Cowboy holding. Cowboy will keep you guys. Don't ask him about Bryce now. You always put him in a...
Love it or return it for free. That's LUME deodorant.com, code 500 to save 15% today.
This report is sponsored by Tire Rack. The best sports talk in the state. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room, Coach. Let's go straight out to the Yellowwood Hotline, get Cowboy in.
Hey, good morning, Cowboy. What's up this morning?
How you doing, Coach?
I'm okay. Barry had to run, take my grandson to the doctor, but you and I can visit. What's on your mind?
Oh, a couple things. I bought this new house out here in Dallas, and got moved in last weekend, and I was cleaning out some drawers, and I was cleaning out a drawer, and I went through there and found a pocket schedule of the 1992 Alabama basketball team with you on the cover, Darby Rich, a couple other players, I guess, for seniors. I said, I got to keep that. I can't throw that away. That's a keepsake, and I found a couple of Coach Stallings, and there was some Nick Saban stuff and some drawer. I said, maybe that's a good omen for tonight. You know, I found this pocket schedule. We're going to get over the hump. I've drove a lot of miles with you trying to get over the hump, but hey, you know, I'm glad they did it. I'm not as euphoric as I would have been when you were there, but you know, I guess I followed it harder back in those days. But
yeah, well, it's a great honor to get to the Final Four. We've had, in actuality, in the conference, we've had several teams go lately. South Carolina went, which was unheard of, and then Mississippi State went the year that I came over from Little Rock and beat them. They went to the Final Four that year. So those are two teams. When we think of the Final Four, most of the time we think of Kentucky. But those two teams out of the league went, and so that was a great honor for them. It's it's very, very good, recruiting wise, very good. You get a lot of accolades because you did this and did that as a coach, and the players played hard for you and all that kind of thing. So it's great. It's a great thrill for Alabama.
Yeah, I'm happy for them. When you were coaching Coach Barnes, I really felt bad for them Sunday. I know Tennessee, Alabama people can't stand Tennessee, but they're part of the league, and I was pulling for them. I thought they did everything they could to try to win that game. Just the big man beat them. What do you think, Coach?
Yeah, probably so. I didn't get to see it all of it, but maybe they tried to go to connect too much. The great shooter for Tennessee, they may have. And I don't think one of their guards has played well lately. I can't remember his name, but I don't think he has played as well lately over the
point guard.
Yeah. I just felt like they weren't as good out front as they have been. And secondly, I felt like that they just, this big guy is hard to defend. He's a very good player for his size. I just got something from one of my former players saying that he weighs 300 pounds. And so when you got a guy that's 300 pounds in there, it's a booger bear. And then, of course, Tennessee people are complaining he stayed in the lane too long. I don't know whether he did or not, but that certainly would be a factor. But to be that big, we can't really appreciate how agile he really is. To be 300 pounds and 7'5" or something was remarkable. And it was a heck of a game. I thought Tennessee got after him good. I really didn't study what happened with Edey, what they did wrong, but he got a lot of putbacks offensively, and it was hard to guard.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I don't believe North Carolina State big man can handle him. But
no, I don't either. But North Carolina State's supposed to lose every game they played. They won 9 in a row.
Yeah.
So that's that's the difference there. Winning 9 in a row, and every time you think they're going to lose, they don't. Their players are confident with each other. They are one basket away from not even getting anywhere. And
right.
I won't go back over what they've done, but they won all the close games. They played hard. So my heart hats off to NC State. They've gotten after it pretty well.
Yeah, they have. Hey, when I got moved in this new house, I got the TV deal set up Saturday. I'm not a big fan of streaming, but I can stream through the Spectrum app, which is Spectrum Cable. So it's the same thing, really. You just don't have the cable box. I was looking through there, and Zumo, which is part of the box, there's a bunch of cowboy channels. You got any streaming cowboy channels?
No, I don't know how to stream.
Oh, well, maybe you can call if you got. I know my brother in Birmingham is Charter, which Spectrum owns, and you can call them and talk to them. You can get rid of the cable boxes, and you go to the Spectrum app, and it's the same channels, and then they got a little box called Zumo that's $5 a month, and the Zumo's got a bunch of cowboy channels on it. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, I'd like to have that. I love to see some old cowboy movies, but I don't know how to do it. So I can just barely turn it on, much less do all that.
Yeah, RFD TV used to have. They had the Lone Rangers, Roy Rogers shows on.
Yeah.
I used to record them when I wasn't home. Watch Roy Rogers. I used to like those. Those are some good shows.
Yeah, Roy Rogers and Gene Autry. Yep.
Yeah. Well, look, Coach, I'll let somebody else come. Okay. Good talking to you.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Coach, we got Philip on hold here.
Good. Hey, Philip.
Hey, Coach. I've been at the dentist. I'm a little late checking in with you. I hope your wife's continuing to do good.
Thank you. It's a little bit of a struggle, but we'll do the best we can with it.
Yes, sir. Hey, Coach, I'll tell you why I think Alabama's got a shot.
Okay.
Saturday, and it's just throwing it out there. And you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. But if Alabama can hit some three-pointers in that dome environment, that football stadium environment, and get comfy, shooting early, I think Alabama's got more than a fighter's chance of beating UConn.
Yeah. Well, I think a dome, man, you made a good point. The dome is a little bit more difficult to shoot because it's open air. And I don't really know why that is. I always played when I had a big background of something back there. I just did better. I don't know that Alabama won't shoot. I hear people talk about saying, well, they didn't shoot well tonight and so forth, but they don't really understand what makes people shoot well and not shoot well, and that's the defense. The defense if the defense gets to Alabama late, and they get some good looks, then they've got a better percentage of shooting the basketball. If the defense gets there early and gets on them really early and contests the shot with those big guys, then it makes it more difficult. We seem to always say it's the offense, and which you brought that good point out. But the defense, the abilities that the defense has to defend and pressure that three-point shot, people need to go back and look at that and see if Alabama didn't get pressured or they did get pressured.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever coach in the Astrodome or the Superdome?
The Superdome, I don't know. I don't think I did. I'm sure at one of those domes, a couple of those domes I played in, but I don't even remember which ones we played.
Right.
So darn me, I got sent so cotton picking many places. Finally, I had been sent everywhere for my first 9 trips to the NCAA, and all of a sudden everybody kept saying, "Oh, Wimp, I guarantee you're going to send your family west," and they did. They sent me west to play Colorado State, and we played Colorado State, and then we were going to play Arizona. And we were fortunate enough to beat Colorado State. Arizona, Philip, took us real light. They didn't think much about our team. We were in the dressing room talking about what we were going to do, and they had some new T-shirts, and they were out signing autographs. And of course, I used that against them. And with my team trying to get them ready, and I'm telling you, right, I never will forget, and I will go whatever else you want. I never will forget about 3/4 through that game. I punched Kevin Gray. I said, Kevin, look at that cotton picking scoreboard and see if it is what I think it is. And he laughed at me. Yeah. But, we just happened to play well in that game.
Sure did. Well, anyway, that's all I was talking about, coaches. I'm hoping if Alabama can get Kofi with some long-range shots. And
so much of that, I think to answer your question, it so much depends on the kind, and I want you to look at that because it's a good question. I want you to look and see if you feel like that they missed open shots or whether the defense caused them to miss shots. That would be interesting for you to look at and tell me Monday.
I definitely will, sir. Okay. And y'all have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. You too.
Coach, we'll go ahead and take our last break here, and then we'll come back and wrap up the show.
Okay, fine.
You're listening to Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. This is Inside the Locker Room with Coach Wimp Sanderson and Barry Sanderson. We'll be right back to wrap it all up.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We do have a couple of accidents on the board as we start to wind down the morning drive. One of them is popped up near a very busy intersection. This is going to be along Lurling Wallace near McFarland. Although the crash is out of the road, it does not appear to be blocking any lanes or adding to any significant backups there. Our other one is going to be
DEAL or text DEAL to 511-511. Text DEAL to 511-511. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Clearing, breezy, and cooler today. The high 65. Mostly fair tonight. The low 43. Tomorrow, partly sunny. The high 63. Friday, a sunny day. We start the day with lows in the 30s with some frost. The high Friday at 65. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 52 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry, only on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Okay, we're back. Okay. We'll close it out. For those of you who were not listening when we started, Saturday, 5:09, North Carolina State, which is a real surprise, has done great, won 9 in a row, will play Purdue to go to the championship game, and the Big Burns kid versus Edie should be a good game, although Edie is so big and so strong. We'll see what happens there. 8.5-point favorite Purdue is. And last but not least, Alabama at 7:49 on TBS. Alabama is 11.5-point dog. Connecticut is a 11.5-point favorite. And so those are the two games that you'll want to look at on Saturday. I'll announce them again every day so that you'll have it. So tomorrow we got Tim Floyd on, who was a good friend of mine, very good friend of mine, great coach. He'll be on tomorrow. He coaches Southern Cal. Musselman's going to Southern Cal, and so that will be a good interview for us. Of course, we'll have JC on first. He'll be on, and then I don't have a guest right now for Friday. Of course, we'll have Sonny, and then we'll get somebody. That's about it. Okay, talk to you tomorrow. Thank you. Thanks, Justin.
Yes, sir. You've been listening to Inside the Locker Room here on Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. Up next, The Gary Harris Show. So stay tuned.